I was on someone's kill list. After high school many years ago, I found myself in a tough spot. My guardian had kicked me out after graduation and didn't help me find a place to stay. For a couple of months, I lived in my car. One day at work, I met some heavy metal guys I had seen around town. Everyone loved them, and we quickly became friends. They offered me a place to stay, and I agreed. Looking back, I wish I had just stayed in my car. My two main roommates were brothers, Andrew and Seth. They were in a band and had a strong interest in the occult. I didn't share their beliefs, but they had let me live with them rent-free for months, so I kept my thoughts to myself. Being the only woman in a house full of young men made me cautious. I always felt like I had to keep my guard up. As time passed, their friends began staying with us for longer stretches. Among them were two other brothers, one of whom, Mark, was polite and helpful. The other, Adam, had a troubled past. He had struggled with mental health issues after using drugs and had even spent time in prison for a violent incident. Adam would often look me in the eyes and say unsettling things, like how he could see how I would die. Once he told me I was possessed by a demon and needed my soul cleansed. Everyone knew about his issues, that they were his friends and wanted to support him. I, however, felt uneasy around him. And I wasn't the only one who should have been concerned. One day, while I was sleeping, my phone rang. It was my boss, asking if I could come into work an hour early. With nothing else to do, I agreed. I walked into the living room to see Mark and Andrew on the couch, while Adam sat on the floor, engrossed in some intense scripture videos. I said my goodbyes and left for work. As my shift was winding down, the phone rang again. My boss handed it to me, saying it was for me. I assumed it was a friend, but instead, I heard a man's voice I didn't recognize. "Hi, this is Detective Williams. Something happened at your apartment today, and we need you to come to the station to talk about it." I left work immediately, thinking one of the brothers had gotten into trouble. I was very wrong. When I arrived at the station, an officer escorted me to a small, cold room. He left me there for about 30 minutes, and my mind raced with possibilities. Finally, he returned and delivered the shocking news. Adam had stabbed and killed Andrew around 1 p.m. I was in disbelief. I had just left the house an hour before, and everything seemed normal. The detective told me there hadn't been a fight. It appeared to have happened out of nowhere. I gave my statement and left, still in shock and without a place to go. Our apartment was a crime scene, so I went to a friend's house to watch the news report, desperate for more information. Over the next few days, details emerged. Adam hadn't just stabbed Andrew once or twice. He had stabbed him repeatedly, nearly decapitating him. Afterward, he ran down the road, still holding the weapon, and called 911 to confess. I watched the news in horror. We had all known Adam was unstable, but this? He had planned to murder all of his brothers, my roommates, and me, believing we were possessed by demons. Thankfully, none of the others were home that day. Mark witnessed the attack, but managed to escape. If I hadn't gotten that call from my boss, I might not be here today. So to the man who brutally murdered my friend and wanted to take my life, let's never meet again.